Yes, we got it. Did you? Don't think so. But we did.
We
Above those who walk are those who fly.
We weren't the ones who got it though. So don't forget to thank your friend and buy them a nice birthday gift if they were the ones who bought the Bad Bunny tickets for you.
Yes. But we managed. We managed, huh?
It's true.
That was great.
Yeah.
Great. I'm very happy with that.
We'll be seeing you, Benito, in 2026.
Do you think you'll still like Bad Bunny by then?
I hope so. I hope so. I hope I won't get tired of him, but I don't think I will.
Yeah, I don't think so as well. I think we'll be fine.
I think we'll be fine. Definitely. Yeah.
Roll the intro. Politics.
Check.
Drama.
Sure.
And filtered thoughts you didn't ask for. It's spilled milk.
Enjoy the mess. So what's on the menu for today?
So the menu for today is we're going to talk about meeting the parents. So whenever you have a relationship, you have to meet the parents of the person you're with. And we're also going to discuss what has been happening throughout this week with the PDiddyTrial. I think it has been a really important week. We had 5 days of testimonies from Cassie Ventura. Yeah. And we want to get a deep dive on this case and what we think about it and our first impressions. But before we get into the topics of this week, I wanted to share a story with you, Ivani, actually. Last weekend, we had the Benfica and Sporting derby.
Right.
Actually, Sporting was champions yesterday, so congratulations to Sporting fans. Unfortunately, that is the case. I'm not a Sporting fan, so it's tough. And at the Benfica game, I went and even didn't go. And at the Benfica game, right. I met Yuri or Smile from Os Primos.
No.
Yeah, I actually did. And man, basically, I'll tell you the story. I'm next to this guy. Out of nowhere because we're waiting for the bus to come by, and people start asking for pictures, and everybody's taking pictures, and I want to act cool, like I'm on that level, but I'm really not. And my friends also want to take a picture, and we all take a picture. I will show the picture, and I'm there, man, and eventually people stop taking pictures, and I'm next to the guy, and I start to realize, man, God put me next to this guy. God wants me to speak to him, And so, man, I have to speak to him. I have to start a conversation. And, man, what do? I start a conversation. And I start a conversation with a guy. Man, to break the ice, I ask him, do you get bothered with people taking pictures and asking for pictures? And he's like, no, it doesn't bother me at all. Just I live off of this. This is super important for me. And so this is okay.
Of course.
And as we spoke for like 10, 15, 20 minutes with his wife as well, like super nice lady, by the way. And man, as I'm speaking to him, I'm realizing, bro, I'm speaking to him with the assumption that I kind of know him because of all of the content that we consume of him.
Every day.
Every day. Yeah. And man, I raised that to him. He doesn't know me at all, man. He's just talking to a Benfica supporter, random dude, sweating and smelling like beer, And, bro, eventually I have to ask him. I started a podcast with my girlfriend. And, man, what advice do you have? Man, and he answers just, to be fair, number one, there's only one very obvious but important advice for podcasts, which is consistency. Consistency to produce the content so that people know when it's coming out, that you keep going. And that's exactly what we're doing today. This is it.
So nice. What a nice story. Bem, acho que é a altura certa para podermos lançar aqui um convite. Se o Yuri e o Rui alguma vez quiserem vir aqui sentar no nosso sofá e dizer-nos qual é que é o movimento cardíaco do dia, estão à vontade. Está lançado.
Switch back to English.
Switching back to English. Yes. So that's the main reason why we've been away for so long. It's quite difficult to travel and take all of this equipment. I know you guys don't see what's going on behind the scenes. You only see the edited piece. But there's a lot of stuff here, and it's impossible just for us to travel with everything. And yeah, but we're back. Here we are, episode 4. And let's get into it. Meeting the family.
Meeting the family. I think the first really important thing to say is that when you start dating someone, you're not just dating this person. You're also dating his or her parents.
Right.
Right? His whole family.
Right.
Right? And man, it can be tough. It can be challenging. And you need to put up with these people. And let's get into it. What main advice do you think needs to come out? And when is the right time for people to meet the family or the parents?
Right. I think to be quite honest, as soon as the relationship is stable, you should start thinking about it. It wasn't our case.
Right, but we're not example for anyone in this case.
We're no example for anyone in relationship-wise. We are no example for anyone. We just took a deep dive and we just...
I think we're an example of people that love each other very much.
Yeah.
But we're not really an example of moving things slow or taking your time.
Taking your time was not a thing for us.
We were very, very fast. But I think 3 months makes sense.
3 months makes sense. If you're serious about this guy, yes. Or about this, your partner, whatever.
If it's 2 weeks, it's too short. And if it's a year, you're going into it witness protection, bro.
Obviously. Because right? It would be 2 weeks will scare someone off. Absolutely.
Right?
In our case, I met your parents before we started dating.
Yeah. You were ambushed.
Yeah, I was 100% ambushed. Basically what happened was we agreed on having a dinner with our friends.
Yes.
Gonçalo said, no problem at all. Let's book the dinner. We can have it in my house. And I said, well, if you are going to offer us the house, then I'll cook. Thinking that I was going to cook for our friends only.
And that I was going to be there.
And that you were going to be there.
I was at work.
This guy was working and all of a sudden nothing. I was super lucky because I called one of my girlfriends that was going to be at the dinner and I told her, listen, let's leave the house together. We're going to the same place, so we might as well. Meanwhile, we're halfway through. So we're halfway there and we call Gonçalo. All right, listen, we just thought about this crazy idea. Who's going to open the door for us? Because if you're at work, then who's at home? And Gonçalo said, oh, don't worry. Someone will be home for sure. To which I found a bit weird, but Gonçalo has a sister. So in between his sister, maybe someone who would be at the house, or his parents, who are super allowed to be at the house, even though there was going to be a dinner there. It would be fine. We got home. We get to the door. We knock on the door. And nonetheless, Gonçalo's mom opens the door, looks at us, and super welcoming. Hi, girls. Okay. I'm getting ready. Me thinking, okay, the lady's getting ready to leave the house because we're all having dinner here. Turns out that was a whole complete lie. And no one ever left the house. I ended up cooking for the whole family plus all our friends. So yeah, but it turned out well. Yeah,
it turned out really fine.
It was an adventure.
To be fair, for me, it's really, really hard. I don't want to say it's not important. Of course, it is for people to meet my parents and for the person I'm with to meet my parents. But it's just it's inevitable to meet my parents early because my parents are really in my everyday life. My parents, I hang out a lot at my place back in Portugal, and a lot of my friends come by, and my parents know all of my friends. Sometimes they go out with my friends, or they go out with me, and it's a bit impossible not to make the distinguish what is my life with my parents and what is the life without my parents.
Also, to be fair, I was introduced as a friend because I was your friend at the time. It's not like I was
exactly
introduced as anything else, but it was tense because parents have been through whatever you're living right now and they know more than us. Yes. They just do. So it was 100%. Tense because everyone knew what was happening except us. I don't think we frankly quite knew what was happening. But anyways,
I totally knew.
It was quite nice.
It was done. To
be fair, these occasions sometimes are even better than a whole planned thing, just because you manage to just rip the band-aid out and it's over and done with, rather than having something super formal, being like, okay, you're meeting my parents,
right?
We're having a dinner, whatever, on Saturday at 8. Be there, bring something, be super formal,
100%.
Know what to wear, behave.
Yeah, it's too much pressure.
It's
like,
a lot
I
of
also
pressure.
met your mom and your whole family, like, by coincidence, almost.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I was
Yeah.
going to this concert, or like to this DJ thing. A friend of mine was a DJ and still is a DJ, but he was throwing this party, and I was gonna go after dinner, or like at 8, and we arrived at her place at 7, and I had 1 hour to kill, and she wanted to go home to help her mom. Man, and I'm like, bro, I'm just. It was next to her house, the party, and I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna stay in the car. And she invited me in. Eventually, the party, there was a problem with the party. I stayed over for dinner. Her whole family came in because it was like the Saturday, where they all hang out every Saturday. They have like game night. And so I stayed over. Man, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing that I, out of nowhere, met her whole family. I was pressured.
It was crazy.
I was pressured.
We were 1 week in, I think, or something of the sort.
Yeah.
1 week in after our first kiss. So it wasn't even like...
Man, we were...
nuts.
Yeah. Like, her uncle was like, oh, so what are you? What are you, huh? And I'm like, we're close friends. And her uncle... but do close friends kiss in the mouth? And I'm not the type of person that gets cringed out, intimidated. But her uncle really did. He
did his job.
He did his job.
He did his job.
100%.
But going back to, well, not everyone has these types of occasions or are lucky enough to just rip the band-aid off. Going back to something a bit more formal, how do you feel, or what do you feel that people should be wearing? For example, which happens a lot, and the most common thing is having someone over for dinner to introduce your better half, right? What do you think, what would you wear if you had the opportunity to go back and meet my family on something more programmed?
I have a philosophy. My philosophy here is you have to wear what you normally wear, but you need to look good. Like, don't go wearing a suit if you don't wear a suit normally. If you go from work and you wear a suit at work, it makes sense. But if there is no excuse for wearing a suit, you're not going to wear a suit to meet the girl's parents. It makes no sense. But also, don't go all lazy with like ripped jeans and stuff. Like, you need to look good, like smart casual.
Sharp. Yeah.
Smart casual is a safe option, I think. But I don't think I would go smart casual even. I think I would go... I don't know. I don't know, actually.
I think it also depends from family to family. It's also very important for you to have a brief, like a bit of feedback before you actually get to the event on what's going to happen. Is there going to be a post-event? How should I be dressed? Because you never know what to expect, right? My family is pretty chill, and so is yours.
Yeah.
But... maybe, I don't know, who knows, there's families that are more formal and you would have to wear a shirt and then a polo.
You need to match the vibe of the other family. That is 100% true. Like, if the other family is super formal and you normally walk around wearing ripped jeans, you have to adjust. But the thing is,
don't change but adjust.
Don't change but adjust.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you want to spend your life with the person that you're with, you're going to have to be yourself eventually. And you can't just be wearing suits all the time if you're not the guy that wears suits all the time.
Yeah, but you have to earn your place for that.
Right.
You have to wait and earn your place.
Right. I think, for example, we had a friend that was going to meet the girl's parents. And he wears a mustache all the time. And he asked us, what do we think of him shaving the mustache to look sharper? Man, and to be fair, I think it's fair. I understand the concept of looking sharper, bro. But you wear the mustache all the time. They need to meet you with the mustache. It makes no sense for you to show a different person when the normal you is not that.
Yeah, I think when you do something like that, the contrary reaction happens. As in, you show up with no mustache, and then all of a sudden you start growing the mustache, and the parents and the family are like, what the hell is going on? Like, what changed? All of a sudden you are a different person?
Right.
No, they don't. People like to know what to expect. And if you changed your aesthetic, I don't know, too soon, it might be a red flag for the family.
I totally.
But hey, then again, I'm dating Gonzalo for 2 years and I've never seen him without a beard.
That's true, man. I've worn
scared.
this Peter, the classic Batman. I'm so Batman. From a scale from 1 to 10, how much of a posh guy am I?
You're an 8.
8 posh?
You're an 8.
8 posh?
Yeah, there's always
I had no clue I was 8 posh, bro.
There's always room for improvement, but you're an 8.
8, just because of the Peter?
No.
No!
No.
Oh, man.
No. But you're an
That's cool,
okay,
like posh guys
guy.
are attractive.
You're not snob, you're posh. It's different.
I'm not snob. Good.
You're not snob.
Good to know. Good to know.
No
Good
one
to
likes
know.
a snobby guy.
But, man, actually, just going off on a tangent, man, men now wear, like, facial hair all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Out of nowhere, people, like, men wear facial hair.
But I think women prefer it that way just because they don't want to date a baby.
But not all women. Like,
no, not all women, but not all men either.
Right, I understand. But before it used to be like a thing that you had to wear like clean shave. And now you don't. Right? Now it's actually cool not to wear it. Like the trend changed over time.
I mean, I don't know. I've never seen you without a beard. I cannot even imagine you without a beard, and I can't imagine myself being you without a beard for too long. You know, being with you without a beard for too long. As in, I know it'll be a phase, kind of thing. Like, I'm just gonna show my girlfriend how I look like without a beard. No,
I couldn't.
So she knows who she's gonna marry.
The first time I grew my beard, I was like, "Where have you been my whole life?" I knew straight away it was my type of personality. I needed to wear it. It's gonna last a long time until I shave it. But I actually have a challenge. If we reach 10,000 followers anywhere, Instagram, TikTok, wherever. First platform to reach 10K, I will shave my beard.
Shit. Talking about challenges.
You're worried because you know we have potential.
Oh my god.
That's the problem.
No, yeah, that's the problem. No, I'm scared everyone is going to follow us in like 3 days, and then all of a sudden you're going to have to shave your beard. I'm scared. But talking about challenges, if you're there, if you've made it this far, it's time to like, subscribe,
yes,
share, and do whatever you can to support our little channel.
Yes, please.
So this is what we're doing for you guys. I know it comes out every once in a while, but
it really helps out that people follow, share clips. The clips are doing well. Like the clips that you see, like the content that you see on Spotify, on YouTube, everywhere.
The content we're doing is
satisfying. That people like it. Yeah,
exactly.
I think people are enjoying our feedback. Is really good. So
I hope so.
Let's carry on. Like, back to meeting the family.
Right. I have another question.
You have another question?
So we've dealt with what to wear, when to meet, what to bring. Right. Because here's the thing. For me, if you are invited, it's not even part of etiquette. It's part of education, I would say. I would even go further. Bring something to whatever dinner it may be, but bring something even more special if you're meeting the parents.
If you're meeting the family, I think if you're Spanish, Portuguese, or Italian, you bring a wine. I don't care. You bring a wine. The only problem is when I met Ivani's parents and Ivani's family, they don't drink. I brought the wine and they don't drink. But I think it was still a good gift because, man, wine is also like symbolic. There's wines that you never even drink.
Yeah, plus you always have people over that enjoy drinking wine, and then you'll be able to serve those bottles of wine.
Exactly. Sometimes you have dinners with people that enjoy wine, so you serve these bottles that you don't drink, but that were offered to you, right?
Exactly. So it's still a gift because you'll use them for, even if it may be for the benefit of someone else. You'll never even get to taste it, but it'll be for the benefit of someone else.
Yeah.
In my case, for example, When I take things to your house, usually I bring flowers for your mom.
Right.
And or dessert, very rarely, but it can happen.
Yeah, flowers is always super nice.
Flowers, I think, is so nice.
Yeah. I think people need to buy more flowers.
Yeah. We try doing that for our place. So buying flowers is really nice. For your dad, though, it's a little harder. But you can never go wrong with a wine.
Yeah. I don't know what I would offer your dad. I haven't met her dad yet.
That's a whole other episode.
After 2 years of a relationship, I've never met your dad.
But for example, my dad, he does not drink, but he does have a huge winery collection.
Exactly, that's what I meant. So it would make sense that I would offer a wine even though he's not going to drink it.
Also, it's tough and dumb to assume that people that don't drink don't understand about wine. It can be rare, but in my dad's case, for example, he does really understand wines.
Exactly,
because he has a lot of friends and people around him that drink wine.
Yeah.
So you start to get,
and that's what I say. I think if you have the Mediterranean culture or the Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, Greek culture, wine makes sense even though if you don't drink.
Yeah.
Now, even if you're from imagine you're Portuguese and your girlfriend is from England and you bring a Portuguese bottle, bro, that's really good.
For example, we went to Italy, but we brought things from. I wasn't going to bring anything. I mean, in Italy, you have amazing wine, amazing food. So what we decided to do when we went and met our friends' parents, we brought a wine from Spain and some jamon from Spain. Cultural, local things always work as well. You can never 100%. Go wrong. You can never go wrong. The best of what your country has to offer, you take some. For example, if I went somewhere else from Lisbon, maybe I would take some pastéis de nata. Or whatever. Something local, nice.
Pastéis de nata.
I miss them.
Oh man, I miss them as well.
I miss them.
But here in Madrid, they have a good coffee shops. The Portuguese coffee shop that they do pastéis de nata, they're really good.
Yeah, also my birthday cake this year will be pastéis de nata. So...
Yes.
Yes, it will be nice. You heard it here first, guys. That's it. Usually I keep these things a secret because I make a big thing out of my birthday buds.
Yes. So we bring something either local, something associated with you as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not.
Like what, for example?
No, I was thinking something of your club. But that makes no sense.
No, that's mainly for
boys. It's too soon to make that type of joke. Type of commitment, right?
Yeah, maybe for the brother, for example.
Yeah, but there's a lot of if you bring my dad something from Benfica, it's always nice.
Yeah, but because I know your dad now.
Yeah, and it's not for the first time you're meeting the family.
Even if you tell me, oh yeah, I'm a Benfica supporter, that doesn't mean that you are a, I don't know, fanatic. But your dad is a fanatic, so it would work out perfectly. Yeah. So it is what it is.
It's not the one. He's not the only one.
What else?
What else, man? At the end, I think.
Oh, I have a really good one.
Really?
I have a really good one, actually. Very, very important question, and I hope that you guys also comment and share your opinions because this is a 50-50 type of thing. When you break up with your partner. Is the family allowed to continue the relationship with them, or should they also break it off completely?
Bro, great question. And man, my personal opinion is that you need to cut off. There's no way you can still talk and have a relationship with your ex's parents. Man, it makes no sense. I know it hurts, and something that people don't talk about is the grief that parents have to go through after. Absolutely. Their child breaks up with the person that they met, they also fell in love with in a certain way.
Of course.
And
they welcome them into the family.
Of course. So, if it was a long relationship, it's really tough.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of relationships where you also see the girl's parents or the guy's parents, your partner's parents as your own parents almost. Mm-hmm. But eventually you have to cut it. You have to move away.
I think it's really tough. I completely agree. I have the same opinion. It is quite tough. I can only...
Excuse?
No, not even excuse. I can only explain from someone who has obviously had someone in the past who has had a very close relationship to my mom, that it does not help the person who is breaking up grief. As in, I had to ask my mom, please, I understand that this person was important in your life, but just like me, you need to give yourself time and cut off the relationship, because girl, right. I can't get over this person if you keep on telling me that he sent you a text or that he liked your no sé qué or that whatever. Stop it. No, I can't. And I think it's very selfish. If you want to continue having, first of all, don't, but if you want to have the betrayal of continue having the relationship with your ex or your daughter's or son's ex, do it, but don't include them in everything. Don't tell them, don't share it with them, because they're going through something as well. Trust me, it's tougher for them. So
it's not tougher for them, it depends.
It's tougher for the person who just broke up.
I know, of course.
No, I'm not talking about the parents. The parents are adults. You need to get over yourselves.
Exactly. The parents need to get over
you're
it.
You're adults, you're married or you're not married, but you're here, you're
But what about the brother and sister? Like, I think if we broke up, you would still hang out with my sister.
Your sister is different, but I think... We've talked about this a couple of times. I think your sister is the exception to not just being a sister. Ou seja, she's not just a family member of yours. She actually became a friend. I know she's watching this. She's going to be smiling. But I think we would continue being friends, but maybe distancing ourselves a little bit until it will be safe to come back and just... be friends, maybe.
Okay.
But everything changes. I would never be able to go to your house. I would never be able to, hang around just...
No, but even that case, I think you guys would eventually not be that close friends. It's
tough for her. It would be really tough for her.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it would be tough for you as well. Like, it makes no sense for people's closure to do that.
Yeah, it's true.
I think there's a grace period of time where you can still hang out and it's still tough to move away, everybody's sad, but eventually in the long term things will change
100%,
and people move away from each other.
I totally agree.
What is happening? Oh my god.
It's good evening, bad news, guys.
Good evening, bad news of today. We already discussed it. We're gonna have P Diddy case.
The monstrous
P Diddy case. I think to start off, I think it's really important for us to say that, man, P Diddy is a piece of shit, and there's no other way to describe it. P Diddy is a piece of crap, and we want him behind bars. Right? The only thing is he's charged with something that needs to be proved, and we want to analyze the case for itself and see if we think that it's going well, that he...
Two Harvey Specters at your service.
Exactly. If it's going well, that he is going to jail or not. So what are the charges? P Diddy is charged with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by fraud, force or coercion, transportation to engage in prostitution, and sex trafficking by fraud, force or coercion for the women with a pseudonym, and transportation to engage in prostitution for all these women that were not Cassie Ventura. Right? The defense argues that Diddy's conduct was consensual and that people testifying are not reliable, and they also claim that his relationship with Cassie was toxic on both sides. On the other hand, the prosecution will argue that he had a history of abusing, threatening and coercing women to fulfill his own sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct, which it seems like it's pretty obvious that is that. Now, we're seeing a lot of evidence. I think, and unfortunately, I think this is the case. That Cassie's, in the last day, It's not looking great. We'll go there. The first day.
So first of all, you're disgusting.
It's disgusting. Everything is disgusting. We will try to keep away the disgusting parts.
Yeah, but we can't really be explicit on what's been happening. But let's just say that Cassie has been testifying for the past 5 days.
Yeah.
No one else has been heard for the past 5 days besides Cassie. However, there is one really important thing that you said, that Diddy isn't being charged with abuse.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And this is the big problem because...
we all saw the video.
Obviously, the defense, or in this case, the prosecutors, are trying to obviously paint Diddy as an abuser, which he is. However, the defense will say, and what we have been hearing for the past couple of days is, yeah, but he's not here on trial for that. He's here on trial for everything else. If you want to paint him as an abuser, you do you. But here you're not showing me evidence for what he's actually being on trial for. And this is the worst part, because there is evidence. We've all seen the hotel video at the Intercontinental of...
Yeah. But he's not being charged with domestic violence.
He's not being charged for domestic violence, and this is the problem.
But the video is insane. It really does trigger me in a special
place.
In a special place, because men hitting women is disgusting. It's like people with two different strengths hitting. It's just completely unfair. Like. It's the typical go mess with someone with your own size, and it's disgusting. I think it really is 100%. Disgusting. The video also, like him hitting her, it's like she just falls on the floor. He pulls her, she falls on the floor. She doesn't move. Like it's probably happened before. Like she doesn't try to defend herself. He keeps kicking her on the floor. It was disgusting.
When asked about that on trial, the defense or the prosecutors, I think, asked Cassie why she didn't move, because after the first pull, she stayed on the floor, and to which she said it just felt like the safest choice to be made, and she didn't move because of that. So when you play dead kind of situation.
Yeah, it was exactly that.
I think that's what she was. Anyways, let's talk about the freak-offs before.
The first day,
right,
we had the testimony of the male escort that was hired by Diddy to do these freak-offs, where this male escort would have sexual intercourse with Cassie, and then they would switch. P. Diddy was on the other room watching it through his phone, and then they would switch. It's freaking disgusting, okay? But there were two things important that this guy said. The number one is that he felt that she was almost never drunk. They had 7 interactions, 7 freak-offs, and that Cassie was not...
7 or several?
7. They had 7 interactions.
Okay.
And in these 7 interactions, only once does he recall her being under the influence of drugs. Of substances. The other ones, he felt like she was not under the influence. We
do know that drugs were a common factor
100%.
in the freak-offs, because from what Cassie told the court was that they even had a safe word for whenever they were really, really high or too high to participate in the freak-offs.
What was this called?
It was the Matrix. So Matrix. So it was. She described it as they felt like they were in the Matrix and they just couldn't perform. So drugs were definitely.
That's deep, man.
Yeah,
that's deep and
man.
weird.
This has been my TikTok for the past week, so I know a lot.
Yeah, me too. We did a lot of research, right? And the next thing is he kind of told the jury that he was starting to get feelings for Cassie.
Oh, the escort.
Right. Which was weird as hell. And that they even challenged him on, when you were on the other room and P. Diddy was having sexual intercourse with his girlfriend, were you jealous or were you feeling jealousy? And he said, he didn't say no. He said, I don't recall at that moment. But that...
He didn't want to lie on stand.
He didn't want to lie on stand, but I think it was tough. And man, everything was freaking disgusting. They had an inflated pool next to the bed, full of 10 bottles of baby oil, so that they would she would dip inside the baby pool. It's disgusting, the amount of things that guy made her do.
Yeah, that was the preparation ritual, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a preparation ritual, so she would be completely filled with baby oil. There's a lot of photos online and of ChatGPT doing its thing. We did also impersonation of how this would be, and here is the clip, the photo. So the second day, we start to get a little bit more into the actual relationship that they had. We get in to start to know, also that Alex is in the room.
Alex Fine, so Cassie's current husband.
Exactly.
And father of their 2 children.
Exactly. We get into more of these details of the freak-offs that they did. And in the third day, we start to see messages from both of them regarding the freak-offs. And this is where it doesn't really look good.
So Cassie and Diddy's messages between each other.
Yeah, Cassie's and Diddy's messages kind of look like she also wanted the freak-offs a lot. And she enjoyed them. She enjoyed them. We're not saying she enjoyed all of them, but some of them. And there are no messages of him saying, "Oh, if you do this, I'll pay you X." There's no messages. There's only messages of her, like, if he was gonna go away, she told him, like, through messages saying, "Oh, I wish we did a freak off," or something like that. Yeah. Which she was proactively searching for these freak offs, which does not look good at all. Now, man, it's a crazy situation. She's testifying pregnant on stand from her new marriage. She has her kids hearing that as well. Alex, her husband, right now is listening to everything. It's insane. She also, it was revealed also that when Cassie Ventura and Alex started being together, she came back to P Diddy and did a freak off then.
Yeah.
And she didn't need to do it, or it looked like she didn't. It's weird. Also, when she was girlfriends with Kid Cudi, and when she was girlfriends with Kid Cudi, she also went back to P Diddy, and she cheated on Kid Cudi with P Diddy. So it's looking not so great that you can justify that it was all forced, because the media at the beginning, before the trial began, looked like and made it look like she was completely drugged, or like on a wheelchair, and people had rounds on her, and it was freaking disgusting, and she was raped. And it's looking like that was not always the case.
Okay, now is my turn.
Yeah, let's go. What do you think, Ivy?
I think that, number one, Cassie, everyone is entitled to have their own sexual life and their own whatever pleasures, guilty pleasures that they may have or share with their better half. I believe truly that Cassie did enjoy the freak-offs at the beginning. I also do believe that the freak-offs at the beginning were not the same freak-offs that they had 10 years later, because relationships grow, intimacy grows as well, and you start testing the other person's limits, right? So maybe they started having someone else join their intimate parties or times 100%. Or whatever. And then 10 years later, maybe it was 20 people. And maybe Cassie wasn't finding that fun after all, you know?
Of course. We already know that the video...
Second of all, go ahead.
We already know that the video of her leaving the apartment, she was leaving an actual freak-off. Yeah. And she was getting uncomfortable. That's what she said.
Yeah.
That she was getting uncomfortable with what was going on in that freak-off, and that she wanted to move away. And then that's why he came with a towel around his waist and pulled her and kicked her.
She didn't want to be part of that freak-off because she had a movie premiere. 2 days from then, she came out with a busted lip and a scar she still has on her right eyebrow, like around here. If you search pictures of her, you can see it. And she also posted those pictures on Instagram, which I think was very clever because whatever goes up on the internet will never leave. So there will always be traceability back to those pictures. So that was super intelligent. But I also believe when it comes back to the cheating, that Cassie was free of living her own life after she split up with Diddy. That's a lie, in my opinion. There's a thing, and yesterday I actually searched a bit about this. I think Cassie may be going through a Stockholm syndrome situation with her own abuser, and she doesn't know how to leave, and she doesn't know how to cut off the relationship strings that she has with them. At the end of the freaking trial, how can you be on trial? In my opinion, there's still a lot more to be unveiled.
Yes, but how can you be on trial?
But how can you be on trial? She finishes the 5 days describing everything that she went through with Diddy, having her husband there on stand, probably crying, probably this will mark your relationship, your wedding, until your last days. And she says she doesn't hate him. She says she still has love for the good parts of their relationship.
Man.
And in my opinion, you still have a lot of psychological work to go through. I'm not saying that she needs to hate him. Maybe that's just part of her grief. I know that she went through years and years of help, and I think she will always go through that. When she did split up with Diddy, I know that her psychologist told her to put pen to paper and write everything that she was feeling, so maybe it would help her heal.
Right.
And then also on stand, she said that with that same book, her objective was to pass it on to Diddy so he would read it and understand truly how he broke her and what he actually did to her, because I think she is scared that he will one day die and not understand fully to the extent how he hurt her and how she changed completely as a person because of him. And then obviously there was another really horrible part in court, which was when she said that at some point she was already married to Alex. They already had 2 daughters. She's currently pregnant with the 3rd. And at some point they were all sitting on the sofa, and she turned to him and she said, I hope that you can do this without me, because I want to open that door and just run straight into traffic.
Man, that's crazy.
And end my life. And that's it. So a person who feels like this and wants to off herself because of someone else does not love that person. There's a lot of mixed communication of words being done here, and you will never, it's just, you don't know what's stable, what's nurturing, and what's healthy once you leave a toxic relationship like this. You need time and you need support.
Yeah, I understand. And
that's why maybe she went going back to Diddy.
But the problem is the defense is arguing that both people are toxic. And it's just for racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. These charges and coercion, exactly. It's just not looking great that she's saying this. She's sharing this. Of course, she's being truthful, at least, and that is good.
Of course.
But it's just not looking great. And I have the bold statement that I don't see. I have no legal advice to give. I'm not
a lawyer
at all. So I have no clue what is behind the scenes and what is involved. Now, my bold statement is that I think P. Diddy will get away with this.
No, I don't think so. I think if it was just based on Cassie Ventura's testimony, then maybe it would be a bit different. I think he would still go to jail. However, there's still a lot more to come. I think the trial will be around 8 weeks. And if he doesn't go to jail for this, he'll go to jail for something else.
No, hopefully. But I'm saying for this. And
then at the end, if he gets trialed, or seja, if he gets accused of 2 different accusations, I believe, 2 different charges, thank you. You get hit with a RICO case. And girl, if you get hit with a RICO case in the US, you're done.
I have no clue what it means.
It was what Young Thug was up in court for, which, by the way, his lawyer is also is on Diddy's lawyer team.
Yeah, one of his lawyers.
Because Young Thug went to jail for gun possession, drug dealing, I think, as well at some point. So he had more than X amount of charges. He was accused and sentenced to 2 different types of charges, and then altogether that becomes a RICO case. If I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if you want, internet geeks.
Yeah, I have no clue. I have no clue what a RICO case is. Like, I have no research on this.
He will go to jail, I hope, for a lifetime and with no parole, because, man, this man is nasty.
And I think that we're seeing Cassie Ventura because she's the most impactful witness and the person that lived with him for 11 years and
of course.
Is the person that was closest to him, so it's the most important witness. But man, the other women, what they're coming to say is also important, of course, and also the people that are not even involved and that we think should have been involved. Which
girl, I can't wait to see the celebrities pop up in the little courtroom. I can't wait to see Jay-Z being called on to stand because...
Do you think he's going to be called up to stand?
I think he will.
He has to.
Yeah. All of his
50 Cent called it.
50 Cent called it first. Yeah. I think he will. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. By the way, 50 Cent, bro, you've been smashing it online. I wish we could do like a compilation of all the posts that 50 Cent does on Instagram everywhere. It's so good. It's so genuine. It's perfect. Yeah. And he called it way before anyone called it. He's been truthful, and now people are on his side.
If I also have a recommendation, if you guys want to learn a bit more about the person that Diddy was besides being on trial, so before he actually was arrested, there is a documentary on HBO Max. HBO Max now.
No. Yeah. The HBO changes name every 6 months.
Literal. About P Diddy, and it is very heavy, but if you want to know a bit more about how he used to do things, there's so much more to say about this trial. There's also the fact that he was caught with guns, and at some point...
I wanted to mention this to end it. I don't know how long do we have.
Let's see. We have 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to mention is that Cassie Ventura mentioned something really, really, really important in this case, which is that P. Diddy owned a lot of guns. And there was one particular episode where he said he would use his guns to go for a shootout with Suge Knight and his people. And she was afraid for her life that P. Diddy was going to lose his life and that people were going to go to a shootout. Which raises the question. This was not 20 years ago. This was, 5-10 years ago at max. And so this raises the question that the beef of Suge Knight and P. Diddy is still very much alive. And is there some sort of evidence that P. Diddy was actually involved with Tupac's murder? Of course, we know that Tupac was with Suge Knight's label and that Biggie, Notorious B.I.G. was with P. Diddy. So there was already this rivalry for ages, and that we still don't know who Tupac's murderer is. And there's a lot of speculation that P. Diddy was involved, and just the fact that these two people went at each other recently and then wanted to kill each other, effectively kill each other, it's a bit crazy.
It's crazy how all of this shit started with the freaking label, because Cassie was also signed on to Bad Boy Records, and that's why she and Diddy got together. And man, it's nuts.
I think it's the classic. I think I also wanted to mention, like, this is the classic thing that he does, where he dated Jennifer Lopez, and when that Jennifer Lopez started being a bigger star than him, that went way above and beyond. Everybody knows who Jennifer Lopez is, and not everybody knows who P. Diddy is, even though he was very big, of course. Something started happening with Cassie as well. And Cassie was doing really well. Her songs were being listened to everywhere. She was a very good singer, and he wanted to suppress her. And we see evidence of this everywhere. And I think she was a victim of his suppression, literally. Don't you think that there was a pattern here?
Yeah, maybe. I'm just sad because I really loved Cassie's music, and she just stopped making music, and she'll never go back to it again. And Long Way to Go and Me and You were great hits. But there's...
Do you think P Diddy killed Tupac, or was involved?
Oh yeah,
in his killing?
100%.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Don't
sue me.
Yeah.
There could be a very big possibility. Yes. It's. Let me just like, when it comes to these types of topics and situations and themes in life, there's only so much that we will ever know, because we are.
But I want to speculate. I want you to speculate.
No, I'm speculating. Yes, I said yes.
Do you think P Diddy was involved in Tupac's murder?
Yes.
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 But in what sense?
In the sense that he ambushed Tupac.
Yeah. Do you think he pulled the trigger, or someone else pulled the trigger?
Of course not. Someone else pulled the trigger.
Of course.
These people don't go out into war. They pay someone to go to war for you.
Of course.
Money, this is what money buys.
That's crazy.
Also, very important, talking about money, and for you to understand how this may even be a possibility, Tupac paid... If you guys see the hotel video, you can see that it was filmed from another device. So it's not a screenshot of any kind. It's being filmed with a phone. And that phone was... that video was done by a security guard who was paid $100,000 by, nonetheless, P. Diddy to keep it a secret. And the reason why he came out with a video now, or a couple of years ago, I have no idea. I don't know if it was leaked. But the truth is that that security guard was paid or bribed.
Yeah. These bribes were also something that was mentioned on the trial. Like, it was proven, and it was the male escorts testified when something went wrong inside the freak-offs, that he would pay these men to shut up and never talk about this. Which also raises the question, who, besides the people that are testifying, was paid? Because there was a lot of people on his payroll. There are a lot of people on his payroll that are not talking.
In my opinion, I hope he goes to jail, because this could be really, really messy if he doesn't, with all the people that are testifying.
Yeah. It could be bloody.
Yeah. So it's time. You
Guys,
say it
again. Like, subscribe, please. We really need your help to move this along. I think we're doing a good job. We're doing our
trying.
part. We're doing our part. Guys, it's also election day in Portugal today. I don't know at what time this will come out, but if it's election day and you still can vote, please vote.
Do your job.
Do your job. And don't forget, don't cry over spilled milk.
See you on the next episode.